Hello, I hope all of you can see this. Can see the screen.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Yes, sure, we can.
Yeah, we can see the screen.
It's good.
Thank you.
Yes, we see the screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Clear.
So I'm sure when we talk about data analytics, what first comes into mind it's data, information. What is it really about? And that's what I'm going to tackle for today, and also show you some smart ways on how to use data analytics. So some people are in the waiting room. Let me just admit them. Okay. Basically, I'm a married man. As they introduced me, MBA in finance, academics, and also a data analyst consultant. And that's what I do, and that's my stronghold. Basically, I'll move us straight. What is data analytics? Here we are talking about data analytics as the science of extracting trends, patterns, and relevant information from raw data to draw conclusions. As much as we have gathered here on the webinar, I'm sure indirectly, Zoom is taking some information from us in terms of our addresses, our locations, and other aspects. And I'm sure as we go on, I'll go more details into that. From the class, I would like to know I'll do to a half presentation. I'll take questions. If you have any question, you can raise your hand and I'll respond to it. I will continue. As we said, data has so many dimensions and diverse techniques. Now, why data analytics? We should understand that when it comes to data based on science, it helps in making an effective business operations. In that, now with the way the world is going, data is a very important tool. In that, without the information, without data, you can't make an informed decision. And to make this informed decision, you need to go through some processes. And that has to do with 1, analyzing the data, 2, gaining profits, 3, making better use of resources. And the last one would be to improving managerial operations. Now, let's go more in depth into the definition. Now, data analytics is the process of examining and analyzing the raw data sets. As I initially said, we need to draw conclusions from data, because if you have an information, you need to analyze to draw a conclusion from it. From it, you need to derive more information. And what are you using that for? You are using it to improve your business or product or services. As we go on, we'll pick some sample data from Amazon to really understand how they use data. Now, let's look at the data analytics process flow. Number 1, before you analyze data, or let me put it this way. I'm sure when you talk about data, most minds go to data then has to do with numbers, or it's just about numbers. Data is not really about numbers. We have both the structured and unstructured data. So the structured data will basically be a data which is in a more formalized form, which is well defined. An unstructured one can even just be text messages we receive from our WhatsApp messages, and even the news we read, or the news the broadcasters really talk about. They are quite unstructured data. What it means is that you need more resources to mind or pick or make decisions out of those data. So here we are saying that first you need to define the goals. You need to identify the measurable metrics. That's what I was talking about. You need to list, collect, and extract. Then you have to explore and analyze the data. That's where our focus will be. Interpret and visualize the data. Then we have to infer the data, or from the data, we need to make decisions. Now, when it comes to the life cycle, definitely you need to discover, learn about the business domain and assesses available resources. The data preparation, when you talk about the ELT, you're talking about you have to extract, load, and transform. Then we come to the model planning. That is identifying the techniques that we will use to really analyze the data or to define the data. That has to do with identifying techniques and data to understand the variable relationship. Then we go to the model building. That's develop data sets for testing, training, and production. Then we have communicate results, identify key findings, business values, and develop narratives for stakeholders. Then we come to the operationalize. That's where we talk about deliver final reports, briefs, quotes, and technical documents. I hope you are with me.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Yes, sir. So, as I talked about the types of data, there are 4 main types of data analytics based on the workflow and the requirement of the data analytics. So basically, in data, we can really have 4 types. That's what we call the descriptive. So the descriptive, what we are talking about is what happened. Then we have the diagnostic. Why did this happen? Then we have the third, that is the predictive. What will happen? Then the prescriptive. How can we make it happen? We'll pick each of this and really try to digest it or make meaning out of it when you talk about descriptive analytics or descriptive data. What happened? We are talking about the past. And that's where you can see that's the number one. So we'll move into the descriptive analytics. When we talk about the descriptive analytics here, what we are talking about is it is designed to access information about the past. What has happened? So here we are picking information from the past. We are talking about information, historical data. What led to this? So we are depending on past information to draw an inference. And it is the conventional form of analytics. That's what it has been in existence for quite some time. That is descriptive analytics. Those who have read stats will admit to this. Then we have its purpose is to summarize the findings, and it focused on summarized facts. The techniques for the descriptive analytics is data aggregation and basically data mining, as I said. So here we are looking at historical data. We are looking at how things happen in the past, and based on that, as I said, we make an informed decision. So it's based. So I'll give an example of a descriptive analytics. I don't know whether, based on my explanation, I don't know whether if anybody can help me with a type of a descriptive analytics. I want to know if you are with me. Can anybody give an example of a descriptive analytics? Hello.
Descriptive analysis, maybe election results over the years in Ghana.
Thank you very much. That would be a good example of the descriptive data analytics. Basically, it has to do with historical data. Even a company report is a good example of descriptive analytics, because so far as you are giving the company's report, is based on the historical things which has really happened. And that's what you are reporting, or one is reporting on. And that type of data will basically be a descriptive one. And basically, the tools which we'll use to analyze such a data, most people will use the Microsoft Excel, which you are quite familiar, the Power BI, the Tableau, the MATLAB, the SPSS, or Ultrex. I'll explain much into that. Now, let's talk about the diagnostic analytics. Now, when you talk about the diagnostic analytics, we are talking about data which help us to identify why something happened in the past. So here we are digging more into it. We are investigating. Why did it happen in the past? It takes a deeper look at the data to understand the root cause of an event. And here we are saying that it has a limited ability to provide actionable insights. And it provides an understanding of causal relationship and sequence. So here we are diving into the data. So what are we doing? We are really drilling down, data mining. We are drilling down, we are data mining, data discovery. We are finding some correlation between it. Example, I think Bright gave, where he talked about the election. You can see that currently what is happening, one might consider it as a diagnostic one, because now we want to know what really went or what really happened. So now they are going to bring some historical data. I'm sure those who are mining the data want to understand why did the election in this particular region went to the favor of A or B. So now they want to understand what really went into it. Is it that party A did this and party B did not do it? Or is it based on some circumstances which happened close to the election? So here it means they are diving deep into the data to make meaning out of it. And that is called the diagnostic, as you can pick from the name, diagnostic analytics. Okay. Now with the diagnostic analytics, they can be used to discover a causal relationship between two or more data sets. And it's also helpful to those concerned with day-to-day operations. And also it helps to identify why sales representative has sold few items. So here I just skewed it towards the sales people. So a typical example is, why is sales for this particular month, let's say, very low? Then we'd like to delve into it and find the reason why. Has it got to do with the COVID? Is it the rainfall? Is it because the tomato drivers are on strike? That's why the tomato is now, the price is quite high. I'm referring to Ghana here. Or is it because some people are really hoarding it? Here we are doing diagnostic analytics, and here we are delving much into it. And it also provides an understanding of the causal relationship and the sequence of what is really happening. And I'm sure as we are in the time of, let me call it COVID, we need to ensure that at least we are washing our hands. That's why I have some washing hands here, cleaning, and also we ensure that we put on we max up, because we need all of you alive. I hope everybody can hear me. Please, if you have any question, you can really type it in the question box, and my assistants will pick it up, and I'm sure they will respond to it. If I'm also moving fast, please draw my attention, please. And if you need any clarity, please let me know by raising up your hand. And I'll. Okay, now let's go to the predictive analytics. Well, the predictive analytics is used in predicting future outcomes in terms of probability of an event to occur. Here, we have enough data and we are predicting into the future what will happen in the future with the results we have currently. Currently, there's a COVID-19. They say we are in the new normal, and people have predicted that because of this, some companies are really going to suffer. They are going to go down. Kind of skills which will be needed in the industry will be quite different from what previously was highly demanded, in that now soft skills are quite selling, and also employers really want people who are quite, call it, tech savvy, so that at least they know how to use simple things like the Zoom, they know how to mine data, they know how to work from home, and such are the things really employers are looking at. So it's very important that as we go, or with the issue of the COVID-19, work in the world in general, as we call it, a global village, is going to change, and it will not be work as usual. We have analyzing sentiment, where all opinions posted on social media are collected to predict a person's sentiment. Okay, so those who are quite familiar with the Facebook, and also those who even do shopping on Amazon and also watch Netflix, you will realize that behind the scenes, an algorithm will pick at least the sites you normally visit or the items you normally buy. And based on that, they will really send you things and tell you that, okay, fine. If you are buying A, assuming you are buying a Pepsodent, then they knew that, okay, fine, then you need a brush. So then the moment you buy online, the next item which will pop up will be, let's say, a toothbrush. In the same way, assuming they find out that, fine, now you are really skewed towards buying items maybe with a particular brand, then you see that they will be showing up that particular brand item to you for you to really see or they know that, fine, that is your taste, and they are skewing the items towards your taste. So they won't bring anything to you which you have not subscribed to or which you have not. Then we have identifying target audience for promotional campaigns. So as I said, based on that, they are able to use it to run promotions, in that they know that, fine, within the winter, definitely, and based on that, they'll be selling items or sweaters or pullovers which they know that people will need. Then we come to the forecasting weather, plan failure prediction, and also travel products that will recommend a system. Basically, as the name goes, predictive analytics basically has to do with predicting into the future. And basically, when it comes to that, that's what people are really catching up with. We have the machine learning algorithm, as I said, such as random forest and stats. Then we have trained data scientists and machine learning experts. They build these models. And so basically, that will basically build more on programming. And then we have the popular tools for predictive analytics. That's the Python, the R, and the RapidMiner. And there are more. I'm sure most of you might be quite familiar with other ones. I think before I continue with I would like us to take a short pool for you to answer, at least based on this more, what is data analytics? I would like to know what you are quite familiar with in terms of data. So I'll launch a pool and you quickly really respond to it for me. Thank you. So I'm launching the pool. I'm sure you'll see it on your screens. So you can quickly vote on it. So you are now viewing the question. So you can really vote. The question is, what data analytic tool do you know of? We have Excel, we have Power BI, I have Tableau. I want to know what you are quite familiar. You can just select it and we can continue with the presentation. Okay, so I can see that most people are quite familiar with Excel. So we have 36 people who have participated in the pool. I'm waiting for the rest. Okay, so I'm waiting for the rest too. I have just a minute for the pool. Okay, so I guess we have 46 people. We have more people using the Excel, and I think followed by Power BI. I think Tableau, very few people are familiar with it. And we have the Q link, I think most of you are not familiar with. Okay, thank you very much. We'll continue with the presentation. Okay, so move on to our next item, which has to do with the processes. That's the prescriptive analytics. That is the fourth one. So the prescriptive analytics provides the solution for a prediction in the future. It creates and updates the relationship between action and outcome using the feedback system. And it also helps in making optimal recommendation during the decision-making process. It is the final frontier of advanced analytics. So this one, let me call it the features, and it has the power to suggest favorable solution and ease decision-making process. This one is more of like automated. Prescriptive analytics is at the budding stage, as I said initially, of the implementation, and firms have not used its full potential. So that's where the future is. Firms have not really used much about prescriptive analytics. It involves more programming. It involves more going to the future. The machines take over the things we do. And that is really the prescriptive analytics. Do I have any question? If not, I will proceed to the types of analytics, the Amazon example, as I said. So I'm sure most of you are quite familiar with Amazon. It's a shopping site or a commerce site, and people buy stuff from there. It's based in the US. For the diagnostic analytics, Amazon's revenue increased in the West Coast during the past 1 year based on the diagnostic analytics, because they went deep into to find out the need for each client. They increased the spending on sales training. When it comes to Descriptive Analytics, they spent 20 million in different sales training. That is the previous year. That's why I'm referring to 2019. In the Predictive Analytics year, the purchase factors, that's price, time, weather, and festive seasons, they really used it to really drive their sales. And they used a predicted 10 to 12% increase in revenue based on just using the Predictive Analytics. So this one is based on the how they use it to really influence their sales. Then we have the prescriptive analytics. That sales training fetched good return on investment and implement a suitable optimization plan to maximize revenue. The data analytics benefits in terms of decision making, because in all this, when you analyze the data, when you do all the stuff, it's very important that you take a decision. Now, in the decision, we are at the crossroads. In taking decisions, we need data to take decisions. We need information to take decisions. So we say that, fine, companies use business analytics to enable faster and fact-based decision making. They need data. Now, in some world, or currently, people are saying that data is the next oil. Next month, I'm sure we'll do a presentation on how, or we'll compare data and oil, and let you understand how people are now monetizing data and now saying that data is going to be the most essential commodity and it will surpass oil. And I will do a presentation on that, I'm sure, come next month. So watch out for our next webinar come March, which we'll do, because now everything is about data, information. Data-driven organizations makes better strategic decisions, which means that organizations that are more data-driven, they are basing it on data, facts. They excel, or based on that, they make better decisions to really grow the organization. Then we have companies also enjoy high operational efficiency, because based on that, if you have the information, the data, you're able to improve your efficiency based on improved customer satisfaction, and also increased your profit and your revenue level. Now let's talk about the data analytics benefits still in decision making. Data analytics help you define your target audience based on the customer age group, customer preference, location-based purchase, and popular brands or products people see. So based on the data analytics benefits, based on this, you're able to really skew your data, or based on the information you even have about your boss, you even know the time to approach and really, let me say, ask for an increment. You really know the time to really go in and to be nice, or the time you even need to stay away from your boss. It's all based on picking up information, data from your environment. And as I told you, all around us, it's about data. Using Google Map, it's all about data. The way Google is really picking information from you where you might not even be aware of. I'll touch on that as we go on. I hope you are with me, please. Or sometimes doing a Zoom meeting where I hope you are with me, please.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we are. Those who are with me, in the chat box, let me see some hi in there to ensure that I'm not talking to myself. Yeah, hello, can I hear some hi from to know that yes, you are with me? Okay, thank you.
Hi.
Okay. Wabuchi, okay, thank you. Alberta Kwashi, okay. Benjamin, thank you. Okay, so we have Andre. Okay, thank you very much. I'll continue. Yes, Stephen Cletus. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Vasco LCP. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'll continue. Data analytics benefits, cost reduction. I'm sure this one will be very exciting for the accountants or those who are quite finance biased. So looking at data analytics benefit for cost reduction. And here we are talking about data analytics helps us understand shopper behavior by monitoring their browsing interest. And sellers identify shopping patterns and customer demands. Then we have customer data helps companies minimize failed campaigns and reduce the cost associated with them. Now, with data and with much information, organizations are able to reduce their costs in that they are able to really combine or bring together, let me call items and sell it at a reduced price. The fact that they are selling at a reduced price doesn't mean that they are making losses, but they understand they have collected much information and they understand the behavior of the individual. In that example, a typical in Ghana, they will tell you that if you go to the market and you ask for an item, definitely ask for a reduction. And definitely, yes, in Ghana, no, fast you are doing some shopping, you ask for a reduction. Sometimes you go and you pick an item, assuming that you, the buyer, is quite informed and you want to buy something at a reduced price. Maybe you pick an item, then you pick an item at 100 Ghana cedis, and another item, let's say, cost 150. Then you go and pick the 150 item and say, okay, fine, you want to buy the two, but your money is really 200. In actual fact, when you buy the two individuals, it will have cost you 250. But so far as you have been able to, in your smartness, you're able to pick the one which is costing 100, the other one which is costing 150. At that point, you have the cash and you present it to the shopper, or I'm sure it will be a good bargain for you to get it at such a price. So far as you are well informed. So in the graph here, you can see quantity going up, efficiency because of data also going up zigzag. And definitely as much as you do that, it means your cost is also reducing. Now let's move on to analytics for products or services. Now we talk about develop products. That's what the customer wants. Then we talk about know how user engage. We talk about analyze users likes and also dislikes. We talk about the product analytics. So here we are talking about what the person likes, what the person doesn't like. So the highlights reveals the behaviors to help predict customer demands. And Manxay and company research, that's companies that use customer analytics, comprehensively report outstripping their competition in terms of profit almost twice as often as companies that do that. So based on product analytics, that is focusing on analyzing your product, companies that do that are able based on the Manxay research, they are able to outperform their competitors. Now, benefits of analytics on products or services. Now, one, customer buy more when they get what they are looking for. As I was trying to explain earlier to you, analytics helps product teams to dig deeper and identify user needs that might not have been captured otherwise. So here they are looking at the needs of the buyer. That's why nowadays you see most or the malls being sprung up, where they are creating more sort of a one-stop shop. So you see that someone opens a shop and he's selling only one item. Based on the demands of the buyers, of the clients, you see that the person is really expanding the business where he's adding one or two things to it. Basically, what is he trying to achieve? He wants to really satisfy the customer based on the product or services he's rendering. So if you look at this example, look at it, say details associated with a shirt size, how it will look on a customer, and which jeans can be bought along with the shirt do make a lot of sense for a buyer. Okay, now I said we'll talk about Google. I think I will really spend much time here about how Google uses analytics. But before I do that, I would like to take some questions from you. At least I think I've been talking for the past 15 to 30 minutes. I would like to take some questions. If you have any questions, please, you can unmute yourself and ask the question, and I'll be glad to really.
Hi, Mr. Nefi. So there are a few questions in the chat box that I'll be reading whilst we wait for them to
Okay,
also
so
ask.
okay, so
So first of all, there was one from Cecilia. She was asking, "Hello, sir. Please, with the diagnostic analytics, will you consider an HR firm trying to get someone occupy a position as one, please?
okay,
Will you consider an HR firm?" Yes.
okay. So let me quickly. So yes, I would consider that. In the space of the diagnostic analytics, we have something we call the HR analytics. HR analytics, and I'm sure if she's really interested, I'm sure she can contact me because there are some specific courses for HR where we delve basically into HR analytics, and that will be a subset of the diagnostic.
Okay. And secondly, we have one from Kafui. He's asking, "I read linguistics at UG. How can I become a data analyst?" That's the first one. Second one, how can I start a career in it? And I think he has other comments. "I learned it's high paying and it's a freelancer job. How true is this, please?"
It's good because if you don't have a background in, let me quote, let's say start or math, but you are in the arts and you want to enter, I understand that those who come in from the arts come in with a rich experience in that they understand how the customer or how the environment behaves. So for her, if you're really interested in data analytics, first I will say that she really needs to really follow some of the tools. Basically, you need to develop an interest in number one, let's say Excel. Then he can build that into the Power BI. Then he can move into the Tableau. If it doesn't mind, you can get in touch and he can really develop a program for him, which can really help her to really within a year or two at least see herself to be a data analyst in the field.
Okay,
To be a
thank you.
freelancer,
So,
yes, it's a freelance job because, as I said earlier on, it's about data, and people all over the world need data analysts to really help them to mine data. So, yes, you can work from anywhere and it pays well too. Okay, for our next question, please.
okay, so the next question. I'm in the agric field. That's from Fabrice. "I wish to know how data analysis will help me."
Oh, interesting. In the agricultural field, definitely you will need the data analytics in terms of even the type of land you, assuming even if you want to plant in a particular, the type of crop to do, whether to do the backyard one or to go into a big one, or whether even in the agric itself, you really want to focus on data analyzing, basically focused on, let's say, in quotes, food production in Ghana. What it means is that your interest is analyzing food production in Ghana in itself. Is also a whole field on its own. What I want you to understand is that the data analytic field is really a broad field. That's why when earlier on you asked about the diagnostic from the HR person, I said that under the diagnosis itself, we have the HR analytics. So whichever field you find yourself, so far as you use data, definitely data is very important. Because don't forget that I'm sure about 10 years ago, there was nothing in the HR field which was called data analytics. But now it's really big time. And now they even have customer analytics, which is focused on the customer. They have product analytics, which means the person really focused on that particular product to analyze.
Okay, thank you. So, finally, Collins is asking how he can invest in data as a business. I don't know if the question is clear enough or you need him to add more.
It's clear. What it means is that if you really want to invest in data as a business, there are two things. Either you are setting up a company to really now pick up some information, which later you sell to other businesses. Currently, when you pick some companies in Ghana, they sell data. A good example is, let's say, MTN. To get information from MTN, some data information from MTN, they will sell it to you. When you go outside, that's why you find out that even WhatsApp was bought by Facebook, if I'm right. It's all about data.
Yeah.
Yes, it's all about data. That's why I said that next month I will do a presentation on how data is competing with oil, why people are saying that data is the next oil. For you to monetize data, because going forward, for you to get information, you need to pay for. It won't come for free, as we can walk into someone's office and say, if I need information on A, B, C, D. Because don't forget that all these social media apps are really picking information from you by just consuming, by just going to the site, they are picking information from, and those information they are picking from you, later they are going to sell it. That is why when companies want to come to, assuming a company wants to come to Ghana, he will need some information, the graphical information, the age brackets, what their interests are. They will need all this information to ensure that when they come, whatever they want to do, they will succeed. They can target the group. And don't forget that whatever we do, how we move, sometimes people think that when you are, assuming you are even using Google Map, people think that when your data goes off, it means Google is not monitoring. I can bet you Google knows where you are, where you are going, even if your data is off. If you like, you can try it. When you set up your, assuming you are going and you set up your Google Map, you can set up your Google Map and go off. But as much as you move, it will tell you, you will see that you are moving. And even when it will tell you that you are moving, just that it won't give you a new direction, but the old direction you are using, it will lead you to wherever you are going. It has picked the information on where you stopped, where you bought something, the item you even bought. People go into rest stops, and if you realize the moment you walk in, sometimes your phone just beeps and tells you that you are at this particular location or restaurant. It's basically based on the fact that Google Analytics is working and is speaking information from you.
Okay, so yes, we have 2 more questions. Benjamin wants to know how he can consult with your institution, that's Fred Excel, to help him analyze data in his company.
Sorry, please, can you pick that again, please? I didn't get it.
Benjamin wants to know how he can consult with Fred Excel to help him analyze data in his industry so that he can make more informed decisions.
Okay, so all I'll say is that he really needs to get in touch with us. At the end of the presentation, I'll give our contacts. We are on Facebook, linked. You should just hi us there. We'll get in touch and we'll pick it from there.
Okay, and we have 2 more. Sam wants to know how he will use the finished product of the analysis.
To make an informed decision, Sam, because after analyzing the data, you analyze the data, the end product is to make an informed decision. To ensure that the decision you are making or you are taking, you are 100% sure that this will be the outcome. Example has to do with an investment. Even before you go into an investment, you need to have satisfied yourself that you have crossed all the I's and the T's, and you ensure that whatever you are investing, whatever you are putting in, this is the result it will give you. Or assuming that something happened, which is let me call it the predictive analysis based on historical data. You are using the historical data to predict what will happen in the future. Now, the more information, the more data you have, that will help you get closer to the right stuff. Now, a lot of things are happening within the data space. Even if now you have realized, if you go to the YouTube channel and let's say you do a video and it's being played, automatically the words are coming. It's not like you have to type in yourself. Automatically, the algorithm is able to pick whatever you are saying and it really spells it or writes it down as you are speaking or as you are doing the video. I think I can continue.
Okay, so,
and I'll come back to the questions again.
No, we have one more, just one more. Wisdom wants you to explain some of the terms you're using. He wants to know what data mining is, data discovery, drill down, all the terms you're using. I think we need to break it down for them a bit.
Sorry. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Wisdom. Okay. So I'm sure you talk about data mining. Okay, so so these terms are quite practical, and maybe when I'm analyzing data, when I'm doing practical stuff, you will understand better. So data mining has to do with drilling down the data to find out what is really happening. So example, let me pick a good example. Okay, so example with the election which happened, a lot of things have really happened, and now you want to mine the data. You want to understand why maybe a particular region voted in a particular pattern. Now, the process in which you are going through, what it means that you are going to mine the data. Now, you need to set your parameters. You need to set your parameters in such a way that give you much of the information. Now, one, why did the people vote in this particular way? You need to set out some questions for yourself. So, as much as you are going through the process, it means you are mining or you are drilling down to understand or to mine the data. Please visit our YouTube channel, and I'm sure I did a short video on, I think, data mining. I'm sure you understand it better there.
Okay,
our YouTube video is Fred Excel. So Wisdom, try and visit there, and I'm sure you find the answer there. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you. So
Thank
I'll be
you.
sharing the link to the YouTube channel as well for those who can't find it to make it
Okay,
easier for you.
thank you. Okay, so I'll proceed with how Google uses analytics. Okay, so Google has something we call the Google tools. And Google uses these tools and techniques of data analytics to understand requirements based on several parameters, as I was trying to explain. Some of them will be based on the frequency of sites visited. So here they are looking at the number of times you visit a particular site. They are looking at the timing. So all those are parameters. All those are parameters which are looking for the search phrases. Nowadays, you realize that sometimes when you type, the moment you start typing search, it looks like I don't know what you are thinking about. The Google machine is able to predict. So sometimes, assuming that you start typing Excel, it tells you what you are looking for, maybe how to add A to B, and immediately it just comes and gives you examples of it. All these are based on AI algorithms, and also has to do with the data you download. So all this information or all this that you are doing, Google is really capturing it. It's capturing the time you visit a particular site. It's capturing the timing. It's capturing the search phrases you use. It's capturing the data you are downloading. And I know that a time to come, or even now, I can bet you that most of us, Google can tell us, or by not even telling Google anything, Google knows where you stay and where you work or where you visit frequently, irrespective of whether you put your data on or off. Google knows where you are most of the time frequenting. It knows because it picks up the sales site points and to tell you that fine, at this time, either you're on your way home, at this time you have waked up and you're on your way to the office. And you can determine that fine, your office is at Asalam Down and you stay at, let's say, Adenta, without you even asking or telling Google anything. So as much as you put out more information out there, AI is able to pick information from you. Nowadays, if you have realized, even if someone posts your picture, the Facebook is able to determine that this is your picture without your name attached to the picture. If someone posts your picture, if you have set your settings, you can get an alert that someone has really posted your picture somewhere. And that is where we are going. That is some of the magnificent things which is happening with information, with data. So we need to educate ourselves. We need to be aware of all this. So for me, I can always say that there's nothing secret now. In the Kan language, it's like we can't hide anything. We cannot hide anything. Everything is out there. Okay, I'll continue. Then I'll also talk about LinkedIn. All these are applied. They all have applied analytics. All the social media, they have applied analytics behind the scenes. So LinkedIn employs data analytics to revamp its job listing. Who viewed your profile? Those who are on LinkedIn, you'll know. If someone views your profile quickly, you get an alert that someone has really viewed your profile. It directs you to some kind of jobs you have applied. So assume that they see that you're applying for an accountant job all the time. You will see that anytime an account job is posted, you get an alert because they have been able to direct and see that fine, your interest is in this particular field. So automatically, you will get recommendations from the accounts or finance section. Those are also interested in data and they are following a lot of people who are analyzing data, who are data analytic people. You will see that they will push them or direct them towards friends or people who have a common interest in LinkedIn. Then we have Amazon. Interesting. Amazon gathers customers' data while they use the site, tracks what they buy and their shipping address, compare products they browse, recommends products based on needs, and now builds your profile with available data, then suggest products bought by similar customers. Is that not interesting? So I don't know, I'm sure some of you might have done some shopping on Amazon. You will see that the moment you purchase an item, quickly it tells you that when people bought this in addition, they bought this in addition. So it's directing you. Indirectly, it's increasing its revenue because it's pushing you and telling you that fine, when someone bought a shoe, he quickly bought this socks. So he will skew towards someone who, let's say, is within your same domain, age. So he will look at your age bracket. He will look at your location. He will look at kind of association you are in, and now skew some products which he knows that people in that class really enjoys, and now will bring it or will now direct it to you. The next one will be Netflix. I'm sure most of you are now following the movies Netflix. And you see that based on the kind of movies you watch, Netflix recommends some movies to you, and based on that, you are called or you are forced to really watch those movies. Then we come to the education industry. In the education industry, you are looking at schools uses data analytics because they will analyze your educational need and place it at the right level. They will incorporate adaptive learning, improve the curriculum using the software programs, and now they will quiz the students and receive an immediate feedback. Now, even if you have realized, sometimes you go onto the net, they will tell you that fine, they want to assess your level, maybe your empathy level, and based on that, the moment you answer some questions, they are able to tell you the level at which you are, whether you are even based on your character behavior, whether you are sanguine, based on the information you give them, they're able to answer. All these are based on analytics, based on information, historical data they have picked for over a long time, saying that fine, people who behave or do this are likely to be quiet people. People who have ABC, they are supposed to do this and that. So based on that, with much of the information gathered, they are able to make decision. And all this is based on the data the system has been able to accrue, and based on it, it's able to quickly make decision. And now there's even the fear that maybe data might take over the way we do things. Now let's talk about the healthcare. Within the healthcare industry, is one of the most promising areas where data analytics can be applied. Number one, you can use it to reduce the cost of treatment, avoid preventable diseases, predict outbreaks of epidemics and even pandemics, and also improve quality of life. Now you can see that based on a long time historical information being gathered, they are able to determine that fine, people with a particular blood group are not supposed to, let's say, eat this particular kind of food. They're able to determine that if you belong to this blood group, this is how you need to take care of yourself. I'm sure historically, when we talk about people who were sickle cell people, they were saying that they were not living long. But now with data analysis and with science, they have been able to ensure that the product or the things they need to improve their life is there, and they're able to sustain them for a very long period. And some of them even live longer than those who are not even sickle cell. So it's all based on information. It's all based on data gathered from a particular group of people or from a particular group of people of the same kind. We'll move on to the weather forecast. I'm sure we'll finish soon. We'll move on to the weather forecasting. For the weather forecast, I'm sure you're quite familiar. Based on data analytics, it helps to identify the natural disaster patterns by collecting data on the road condition and rainfall in a particular year. The local authorities uses analytics to better anticipate problems caused by the weather. It also helps to make plans to upgrade existing facilities and predict. Very unfortunately, Ghana, maybe based on the information you have gathered a lot of time, we haven't used it to our advantage. In that, it's always during the rainy season, Accra gets flooded, and we know what we need. We know what we must do, but I'm sure the authorities are refusing to do that. And if you now realize, even in the advanced countries, they're able to predict hurricanes, in that before it even happens, they really evacuate the people from those particular areas. I'm not sure we have developed our science to that level that should start a thing happening in our country, able to predict or even know before it happens. But all this is about data and information we have gathered. And based on this, we are able to make an informed decision based on data analytics. I'm sure it's the last one. I don't know if there are more questions for me, I'll answer. Then maybe I'll talk a little bit about FedExcel, what we do and what we can do to assist you. And maybe we'll take it from there. I don't know whether I have any questions or if there's
there are a few more questions.
Okay, then let's take it.
In the chat. So one person wants to know how he will use the finished product. I think you've answered that.
Yeah.
And then finally, someone wants an example for mining data from a supermarket.
Okay.
I think he was just commenting, but it's unclear. So I think you could also speak about that, just in case it's a question.
Okay. So in terms of mining data, you see there are two things. Mining data means that the data is already available, and now you are now mining it to make meaning out of it. Example, assuming you have picked sales data from a lot of regions. Now you want to understand why sales in, let's say, Kumasi is high. The process of finding out why sales is high in that particular enclave means that you are mining it, you are drilling down the data.
Hi. So Tay wants to know. He wants to know how he can be certified in this particular field.
Okay.
That's data analytics.
Okay. So in data
And then he wants. Okay.
No, please proceed.
You want two questions, okay. And then he wants to know if you can organize short courses and certify them. That's Fred Excel.
Okay, sure. Fred Excel can organize short courses, and in part of this program, it's in line with our focus to get more people into the data analytic fields and also get people or direct people to get certified by some of the recognized bodies. So in terms of data analytics, as I said, it's quite a broad area. So depending on the field in which you are interested, assuming you are in the accounting field, you are in the banking field, you are in the HR field, you are even in the teaching, engineering, whichever field, so far as you deal with data, what means that you can be certified in a particular field. And as I said, the data analytics is quite broad. And in the data analytics, there are also tools which are used. Now, high level, when people talk about data analytics, they think that the data analytics is only about people who are doing programming. No, you can use simple tools to really do wonderful things with data. And that is why if you look at the last slide, you can see what we do. So we have Excel. You can use Excel to really mine data and do wonderful stuff. You can use the Word. Okay, so we also teach Word. We also teach PowerPoint. I'm sure with the presentation I'm doing, you can admire or appreciate how the presentation is going. So we also train people on how to use PowerPoint. And this is the Power BI, that's business intelligence. Then we have the Tableau, we have the R. These are all tools which you can use. So far as you are a data analytic person, you need to be. So yes, we can lead you to get certified. But in the first place, we organize some short courses, starting from the Excel, then we'll build up into the Power BI, we move on to the Tableau. And all this, we have certified institutions which really certify them. And basically, we have the Microsoft, which will now, if you really want to go into the data analytic proper and get certified, to say that fine, maybe you are an Excel expert, yet we can guide you to do that. Assuming you want to take a course in Power BI to get certified that you're a Power BI person, yes, we can do that. Tableau the same. So we are here to assist and help you. And also in presentation, PowerPoint, Word, we are here to help you. There's one thing you also need to appreciate, that in the world or currently how we are moving, it's very important that you build yourself in this kind of soft skills, because now we have engineers, we have accountants who are not even quite familiar with simple tool like Excel, which per research is used 71% used worldwide for basic. Because in any industry in which you enter, at least you need to know how to use Excel. You need to know how to use Word. You need to know how to use PowerPoint to do wonderful stuff. That, to be frank, let me call it now, that is. So if you're not quite familiar with these three, then you see that fine, you are really getting yourself lost in the job market, especially when it comes to data. Because you can have all the skills, you can be the smartest, you can have your ACCA, you can be chartered, but if you don't have the skill in any of these two, it's very difficult for you to analyze or be smart in your data. Get in touch for some courses. Yes, we'll leave our numbers here. You can get in touch. As I said,